Hi friends, it's Carrie from Conversations at Carrie's Corner. And today we're talking about one of our favorite subjects, I know, but it's important. And now's the time to talk about it. Politics. I know we're all up to here with politics, right? I am. Seems like that's all across my social media channels that I've been working on for months and months is politics. And I'm glad the election is over. I am so incredibly glad that it's over. The election is actually what started this podcast. Conversations at Carrie's Corner is a place to communicate, to talk about things, to interact, to disagree, to agree, to talk about and work on our differences, to exchange ideas, maybe come away with a new idea. The inspiration for my podcast is looking back into my childhood and going to these remarkable diners that we see across the United States that are now closing because the economy has been so bad. And these are pieces, relics of American history that we have got to try to save. I remember as a young teenager going into these extraordinarily beautiful diners, sitting with my parents and watching my parents communicate and have conversations with people that they'd never met. And coming away and hearing my parents rave about this experience that they had, talking about their differences with these new people that they'd never met in their life that were just an acquaintance from sitting next to at a bar and having a cup of coffee. I remember that vividly. And I remember listening to my parents talking about their conversations and how that impacted their thought processes and sometimes actually caused a shift in the way they thought about something. That's what this podcast is about. A place to do that, to talk to each other, communicate with each other, hash out our differences respectfully, honestly, calmly, rationally, and potentially give each one of us maybe a different idea or a different perspective or a different thought process on a position that we might have. That's where we have got to get as a country. That's where true change starts. Communicating with each other. We should disagree. The world would be a terrible place if we were all the same. We should disagree, but we should be able to disagree calmly, rationally, intelligently, and work out our differences and debate them. We've lost that. Today I want to talk about what I think is part of the reason why we've lost that. And it's a political reason. And it's something that we must, as a nation and as a civilization, Americans, we've got to address this stagnant, vampire-ish career of some politicians who are sucking the blood and livelihood out of America and her citizens. They've been there too long. They're like a leech on our society. They're so comfortable that they're not concerned about whether or not they have to do their job. They have lifetime benefits. They have lifetime retirement. They have lifetime medical insurance. They have all of these things, and they're non-productive. Our most powerful office, the most powerful office in the world, has a term limit. Every 4 years they have to be reelected, and they can only serve 8 years total. Why do we not have this for our other elected officials? I do not understand why. This is in place for specifically the reason we now are dealing with: complacency, comfort, lack of responsibility, lack of conscience. I think if you look deep into your thought process of all the issues that we're having, you can track backwards to get to this point and realize that if we don't have motivated leaders who know they are accountable to the American public, we are going to have complacent leeches that are living off of you and me and our taxpayer dollars. And that is exactly what is happening. Look at the people in our political arena today that cause all of the hatred and division, and 9 out of the 10 of them are going to be lifelong, decades in Washington, that are so incestuously rooted in our democracy that it's going to be almost impossible without term limits to get them out of those positions. People that are billionaires off of you and me and our work, our effort, our 12, 14-hour days. We don't get that. Some of us have been around as long as they have, and they're living paycheck to paycheck. Yet those politicians live in gated communities in massive mansions who don't go to the grocery store, have no idea what it costs to buy milk or bread or cheese or peanut butter. And they're living off of you and me. And it's time we, the people, say, okay, enough is enough, and we must impose term limits. 8 years, whether it's consecutive or in 2 different terms, and you are done. This way we will always have the ability to have new thoughts and new ideas and new talent and new dreams brought to the heart, the brain of our world, our environment, our society, our nation, our government. We can eliminate this stagnant, plagiaristic plague that we have not only on our government but on the finances of our government. We also must make changes to the benefit structure of our elected officials. I'm tired of paying for lifetime health benefits when some of these people are in office a year and they have the benefits for the rest of their life. Do you and I get that if we work at a company for a year? Do we get lifetime benefits and lifetime retirement? No, we don't. The balance is like this. We're down here and our political operatives are up here, and some of us can't even continue to live the lifestyle that we've become accustomed to because we're so far this way and out of balance. Some of us may never see that. Some of us at the end of the baby boom, my generation, my specific generation, many of us probably will never retire because we've been decimated by at least 2 major financial crises in our lifetime as adults, 2008 and 20 to 24. I did a video yesterday about the lack of my husband and my ability to put retirement money away. In the last 4 years, our retirement contributions are down 75% because we have to keep ourselves afloat, pay our bills, not get into unbelievable debt. And it was the only cut that we could make. So that has effectively given me another 4 to 5 years to work. I'm 62. Now I'm going to be probably 70 before I can really retire. That's not how I thought my life was going to go. And I hold those parasites in Washington accountable for that, because they are sucking the life out of all of us by their excess and their splurged lifestyles and their hypocrisy looking at you and I and saying, we understand how you feel. Really? Bullshit. You don't understand a damn thing. You're a vampire on this society, and you don't care about people losing their homes, their cars, even their children, because they can't afford to keep their household together. They lose their house, they can't feed their kids, and so then they lose their kids. Really? You care? How? What have we seen you do? Not a bloody thing. You haven't done a damn thing, except continue to live the excessive, elitist lifestyle that you live. And then you have the audacity to even say, we don't understand the problems. Oh, you are so wrong. We understand the biggest problem is you and your excessive draining of the finances that the American people work bloody hard for to fund our government. And you just exploit it. And we're done. We're done. The swamp has to be drained. We have to eliminate these parasites. And the way we do that is with term limits. 8 years and you're done. No more lifetime benefits. No more lifetime medical insurance. You get it while you work, and then that's it. You put into it what you put into it, and then that's it. Just like the rest of us when we go to work for a company. When we leave, we leave. We don't get the benefits to come with us. That's almost never happens. You should be no different. The American people sent you a mandate last Thursday. We are done. We are sick of it, and we are going to take our country back. And one of the ways that we're going to do that is to put term limits on you. So it will motivate you to get your shit done in the time that you have. And if you don't, well, you'll be sent home. You'll be accountable. We're your boss. The American people are the boss. We run the government. It is what we want, our say, not your say. And we're tired of you taking that message and shoving it down our throats. And you know, it really pisses me off to watch what you did to your own people, your own party. First of all, you completely eliminated a democratic process when you removed Biden in a coup. Every single earthling knows that. Not just every American. Every person that can read or write or listen knows that you excised him out of the election because you knew you were going to be facing the same thing you are facing right now. You lost. We also know that you were behind the attempted assassinations. How do you like that? We know. We know. And basically we're saying to you, you're on notice. You better step up to the plate and take care of the person that we have elected to take our mandate and run with it, or else the American people will have no choice but to finally, and if necessary, take it back. We are a civilized society, but you are pushing the civilization right out of our society, and you are pushing the Americans to the brink. That's what you have done. This is your final warning. The election was what we want, and we will make it happen. Term limits are next. So if you're not there for the right reasons, you will be exercised home. As an elected official, it is your job and your responsibility to do as the people you represent have asked you to do. Many of you have forgotten what that means. Well, the American people have not. Term limits are coming. Maybe you should think about that when you make your next decisions, or if you are irresponsible again. We want hardworking politicians who are going to do what the American people need. This era of decades of living off the American people, well, that's done. We will take our country back. We will get term limits passed through. We will make you accountable. If you're not, you'll be sent home. You'll be fired. It's just like working in the real world that all of us have faced as adults. If you don't get it done, you get a pink slip. And it's really too bad that it's come to this, but there's been decades and decades and decades of excess and abuse and spending, and the American people are tired of funding it all. When we struggle just to survive. Sounds awfully close to dictatorship, in my opinion. Something that you accused Donald Trump of doing, and you've actually been doing it for decades. This is why you don't like him, because he knows it. And now 70% of the American people already know it. The other 30% are still brainwashed by your control of our national news media. That too has to change. That's not journalism. That's propaganda. And propaganda is a tool used by socialists and communists. The American people will not stand for it any longer. We are calling out names one by one to correct the ship and the ship's direction, so we all have a prosperous, joyous, happy, safe, and successful future in our country. Greatest country on earth, America. But the American people are done. These things are coming because we know they need to be done to ensure decades and generations to come. I do want to hear from you. This is why Conversations at Carrie's Corner is all about. Soon we're going to go to a different type of format where we'll have some ability to interact with each other, and I would definitely love to hear from you. I want communication. I want us to come to the middle and talk about these issues, and I'm willing to listen. Are you? In my experience in the last 2 years, there's only a few that I know and respect that will have a respectful, intelligent, calm conversation. What I have seen, unfortunately, the majority is not like that. It's violent rhetoric, threats, condemnation, and any other word that you can describe to disrespect somebody that you're supposedly having a conversation with. It just doesn't happen. At this channel, that's the way it'll be, or there won't be any. You are welcome here. I actually welcome you to come and talk about these subjects. Who knows? You may know something that I don't, and it may sway my opinion, and I hope the other way. That's what true communication does, is respecting each other's position so we can talk about these things, debate these things. But it has to be done in a format that is calm, intelligent, and respectful. Coming back to the middle. The majority of America is closer to the middle than far to the right or far to the left. Common sense, everyday beliefs are what the American people want, and that's the message that was sent. I sure hope those in charge or those who potentially want to go to Washington have listened to the American mandate, because it's not going to change. We've dealt with it for decades, and we've finally had enough. So I welcome you here. I really do. I'd love to hear from you. Any subject is on the table. Any subject. as long as it's done respectfully, appropriately, and with the right content. I'd love to hear from you. Conversations at Carrie's Corner. Hopefully it's the place to start a conversation with somebody about a subject that there's a disagreement. If we can learn to communicate with each other, we can be and have an even greater country than we could have ever imagined. But it takes two people to communicate and respect each other's positions and opinions. If we can learn to do that, just imagine what we could do. Imagine how better off we would all be. Just imagine what it would look like instead of these radical things that we are seeing today. People shaving their hair and saying they're not going to have a relationship with their partner because they don't like the outcome of an election. That's radicalism. I don't want that in my country, and I don't think you do either. Let's figure out a way to fix it. Let's talk about it. Come to Conversations at Carrie's Corner, and let's really start to change how and where our country is headed. God bless you. God bless this amazing country called the United States of America, and thanks for joining me today. We do 2 podcasts a week. This is the first one this week of the 11th of November, 2024, as we head into the new chapter of American history, and the holidays are right around the corner. God bless you. Stay safe, and I will see you in our next podcast. This is Carrie from Conversations at Carrie's Corner. Take care, everyone.